There's so much value that having students come out to the community brings. Having students come into the long-term care home, the residents get excited to see somebody new, meet young people. They get excited to give their feedback to the projects as well. So that's really exciting when they come out. I love to work with students. I love to get to meet young, enthusiastic nutrition students who are going to be my colleagues and will be dietitians. I get to learn what they're learning in class and what's new and exciting in the research and academic field. I get to learn new ways to do projects that they're learning. I didn't know anything about Canva until the newest student was in my office 2 weeks ago. She taught me how to use it a little bit, so that was really exciting. And I get to show them around in the practicum place that they're going to end up and show them how exciting and wonderful it is to work as a dietitian.
Don't be afraid to walk out into the larger community of Saskatchewan. We have stakeholders from across the province that supervise in what we call Precept, our experiential learning projects. Our students work with dietitians from across the province in very different areas of dietetic practice to create rewarding projects that are going to have an impact on the people of Saskatchewan.
I recall when I was a student, it was really exciting to go out into community because you got to see what was going to be the impact of your project, and you got some experience before your practicum going out, so it's not so overwhelming. So I know that that's really impactful for students as well. When they get to come into the community where I work and they get to see who the project is going to impact, that informs their project. When students are completing their short projects, they get to build on some of the academic knowledge that they've built on in their university, and they get to put that into place in those short projects that will build into their longer practicum. They get to meet people, they get to meet residents and folks in the community and build those interpersonal skills that they can use in those short projects and put into place and put into use in their longer projects.
In our College of Agriculture and Bioresources, to have students work with firms that are, passionate about sustainability and also profit-driven. They think there's a market for this, and there's benefits on both sides. So thinking about the Sustainable Development Goals helps students reflect on what the project is looking to do in terms of, focusing on climate action, what individual firms can do, even small steps to help reduce their carbon footprint and focus on reducing hunger and increasing productivity and being more innovative and creating more infrastructure to reduce carbon emission and convert that into more meaningful and supporting processes for agricultural growth and development.
The reason we center Indigenous communities and their stories and cases that have happened there in first-year engineering is that to really be responsible as a profession and answer the TRC calls to action, we need to train engineers who really appreciate what meaningful consultation is and understanding that the way things have been done for the past several hundred years is not going to work going forward, where the people who are most impacted by a project have no control, have no say, and often don't reap a lot of the benefits of that project. And meaningful consultation as an engineer means you need to be able to change the project based on what you hear and the feedback you see. And so focusing on case studies, whether they're more contemporary case studies or from 50 or 100 years ago, those who don't study history are doomed to repeat it. And so to do better going forward, we want all of our engineering students to be aware of what has happened and to analyze it in a way that they can maybe make improvements if they were to be involved in a similar project in the future. The importance of centering case studies that have gone on in Indigenous communities in first-year engineering also has to do with the fact that, as of the 2021 Canadian census, about 5% of people in Canada identify as Indigenous, while that number is about 1% in the engineering profession. So with that underrepresentation, we really want to make our college a place that's more inclusive for all students, but particularly for Indigenous students so they can see their history, their stories, even their ways of teaching and learning reflected, so they can see themselves as potentially having a viable career in engineering. When you think about the challenges faced by Indigenous communities, particularly remote communities, things like access to safe drinking water, I don't think there's any engineer better prepared to solve those problems than an engineer from that community. And so we really want to open the profession up to people who can solve these problems in ways that someone without that lived experience just simply can't.